Perek HaMocher Es HaPeiros Daf Tzadites, sponsored the Refuah Shalema for Chai Rivka Bas Esther. The Mishnah stated a formula for determining a viable height for a building. The Gemara brings an additional formula. The Mishnah's formula is Rumo Kechetzi Arko Chetzi Rochbo. Add together half the length and width to determine the height. The model for this was the Heichal, the area in the temple containing the Mizbeach HaZav, the menorah, and the Shulchan. The length of that area was 40, the width was 20, and height 30 amos. Gemara brings a brisa that states, Rumo Kikorosav, the length of its roof beams laid across the width of the house. The Gemara gives two reasons why it does not simply state the height must be equal to the width. A house widens at the top. Lower down, there were more layers of stone for a stronger foundation. Number two, the ceiling beams are longer than the house's width because they are placed in support sockets. Gemara digresses to discuss miraculous aspects of the Kruvim. Number one, a verse describes the height of the Heichal not as we mentioned earlier 30, but as 20 amos. Gemara explains it as the height above the Kruvim. Just as nothing occupied the airspace above, so too nothing occupied it below. This means the Kruvim were in a dimension that did not occupy space. Just as the Aron HaKodesh did not take up any space, same was true of the Kruvim. There were two Kruvim standing side by side, each with a wingspan of 10 amos, and there was room for their bodies. Gemara presents four challenges to this premise. Number one, perhaps their wings protruded from the middle of their backs, similar to chickens. Number two, perhaps they did not stand side by side. A kruv on one side of the Aron HaKodesh stood away from the western wall, causing their wingspans to overlap. Number three, perhaps they stood on a line diagonal to each other, considerably longer than a line parallel to the wall. Number four, perhaps the 20 amos length and width at ground level widened at the height of the wings. Number five, perhaps their wings were slightly bent or even crossed. The Gemara describes how they stood in relation to each other. They faced each other when Klal Yisrael fulfilled Hashem's will, symbolizing the love between us. When Klal Yisrael sinned, they rotated miraculously and faced the house. Actually, their faces were slightly angled to each other. Now we move on to a new Mishnah. The upcoming Mishnayos discusses rules governing rights of way for those sharing use of property. Number one owning a cistern on another's property has access only by day. The homeowner did not extend him right of way at night. Number two, he cannot bring his animal to the cistern since he can fill a container to bring it water. Number three, both are entitled to lock the pit, even the homeowner. This limits the pit's owner's usage when he is at home, not arousing suspicions about his wife. Now we move on to a new Mishnah. Number one owns a garden within another's garden, has rights of way through the middle of the outer garden during the workday. These rights are limited to watering and harvesting, but not selling or using it as a shortcut. Number two, the outer garden owner may plant the path even if it makes access more difficult. Number three, if the two owners agreed to a path on the side instead of through the middle, he is free to go and come as he pleases, bring in customers, but not use it as a shortcut, and neither may plant there. The Gemara adds additional laws. Number one sells an irrigation canal must be 2 amos wide and an amma on each side to repair its banks. According to Rav Papa, this does not mean to exclude his rights from using other soil in the field. It restricts the owner from building on the 2 amos flanking the canal. Number two, one sells a canal for a wash pond, must be 1.5 amma on each side to repair banks. Gemara brings a dispute concerning who is entitled to plant the extra land for repairing the banks. Rabbi Yehuda, the name of Shmuel, the owner of the field can plant seeds, certainly small trees. Rav Nachman, in the name of Shmuel, only trees. If you're enjoying Daf and 5, please click on the link below, subscribe, and become a sponsor. Thank you.